Hello there everyone, and welcome to this Biology Mind A-Level tutorial on enzymes, in which we're just going to have an introduction to the topic, so it'll be really nice and easy. So we have two key learning objectives. Number one, reduction of activation energy by enzymes, and number two, specificity by enzymes, and I'm going to get that word conquered by the end of this tutorial, so join me with that. Alright, so let's move on to think about the structure and function of enzymes. So, what do enzymes do? So, enzymes reduce the activation energy. So, they reduce the activation energy of a biochemical reaction. Now, what does that mean? What does activation energy mean? So, the activation energy is the minimum amount of energy required for a collision between two particles to result in a reaction. So it's that tipping point for a reaction to occur. So enzymes reduce the activation energy. That is the key thing to remember. Now let's have a think about how this all works. So if you can, pause the video at this point and try to have a think about what this diagram is showing. I'm going to start to label it in a few seconds, so that will reveal the answer a little bit further. Okay, so what do we call these substances, I'm trying not to give the word away, that fit into here? That's called our substrates, which means that this is our enzyme, and what they fit into here is our active site. So you can see that these substrates are the specific shape to fit into this specific shape of our active site, something we'll look at a bit later on. So this over here is now our enzyme substrate complex. Enzyme substrate complex. And then these over here are our products. And you can see that once the reaction has occurred, the products are released and the enzyme is free to then go on and help other substrates also achieve the same thing. So really nice and simple there. So our enzyme, our substrate, our enzyme substrate complex, and our products. Now, in many instances, chemical reactions in the body require a higher temperature than normal body temperature. So, reducing that activation energy. Now, remember, we can write activation energy using this format. That just means activation energy. E with a small capital E with a small case A. So, reducing our activation energy using enzymes allows these reactions in our body to occur at lower temperatures and at a greater rate. So that means enzymes have two functions here. It allows for reactions to occur at lower temperatures, and it also allows for an increase in the rate of reaction. So those are the key properties of enzymes. So, most enzymes are capable of binding only a very unique substrate. So remember, this is our substrate, and look at how specific this active site is. Now, not all substrates can fit into that active site, which is why a very specific substrate is intended for a very specific enzyme. So enzymes usually have an almost spherical shape, and their size depends on the substrates they bind to. And they bind to that unique substrate, remember. And the shape itself impacts and determines the biological function of the enzyme. Now, another thing to note is enzymes are usually soluble in water. Now, have a think why that might be. It's because they contain a large number of hydrophilic amino acids. Now remember, hydrophilic means hydro for water and philic for love, so water-loving amino acids in the polypeptide chains. And this means that enzymes are usually nice and soluble, they're water-loving. So this favours them really well for metabolic reactions. Alright, so that's our whistle-stop tour of enzymes, just giving you a really nice introduction on enzymes before we go on and have a look at them in more detail over the next few tutorials. So I hope that all made sense for you and that was a nice recap, and I will see you for the next tutorial.